Hey, what's up, guys? Hopefully you guys are doing well. First of all, I'm not going to edit this video. I'm going to just do it in one take. No editing, no cuts. I just want to talk straight from the heart. And I'm back in the United States. I'm back in my hometown. And yeah, I'm handling personal business here, handling my visa situation. And once I get that handled, I'm flying back immediately to Japan. And as you guys see from the title of this video, Obachan has unfortunately passed away. She is no longer here with us. As I'm recording this video, it's actually been 1 month now since she passed away. I actually recorded a video back in Hiroshima the day I left Japan, but I rewatched it and I was crying a lot. And I just felt like, the wound was very fresh when I recorded that video. So I'm re-recording it now, and it's been a month now, and I had some time to grieve, really reflect on my caregiving journey and obachan. So if this is the first video you guys are watching of me, my name is Keiji. I'm a Japanese American. In January, I quit my 9-to-5 job in America, and I moved to Japan to take care of my obachan in Hiroshima, Japan. And first of all, before I even uploaded my first video on my social medias, I had consent from obachan, okay? I had consent to document our journey. I remember asking her one day, like, can I take videos, pictures of you, of us, so I could, have something to look back on, something to, preserve memories, And she said yes. She was actually very excited that I was recording videos and documenting our journey, interviewing her. Like, I remember, I don't know if you guys saw the video on my Instagram and TikTok and Facebook of me interviewing her one-on-one. And I remember that day she was just so excited to be on camera. She did her makeup and she was getting all ready and stuff. And yeah, so cute. But yeah, I've always had consent from obachan to document our journey and put it online. So I'm forever grateful for that, And I just want to also say that, I never did this for attention. I never did this for views. I never did this for money or any of that, okay? I did this so I could document our journey, so I could look back on it. And, someday when I have a family and I have kids, I could show them who their grandmother was. And something for my mom, my dad, and I to look back on, and my cousin to look back on, Because I feel like videos are so powerful. They're more powerful than pictures because, you could capture not only how they look like, but also the way they talked, their mannerisms, movement, and it's just small things like that. And I'm just forever grateful that she gave me consent to document our journey. And so I made my first video. I uploaded it and it just went viral. Like, it exploded. And that was very unexpected because, I've been making content since I was, since I was 12 years old. I'm 27 now. I've been making YouTube videos on and off throughout my life. And, I never found any success. So when I started to document this journey and started my social medias, I didn't expect it to get any attention. Like, this was only for my family and I, to be honest, but I don't know, the algorithm, they loved me and it went viral. It exploded. It went everywhere. And I remember when the video went viral, right? My first video went viral. I read comments to obachan and she was just so happy just seeing the love all around the world, the support. And yeah, like, I remember she always kept saying, like, this many people care about me? Like, that's crazy, Like, she was surprised, I was surprised. And yeah, so I kept documenting our journey. I didn't record videos every day because, number one, man, my priority was to take care of obachan, my grandmother. It wasn't to be a content creator. It wasn't to, make videos. So I didn't make videos every day. I didn't capture everything, And I also only wanted to capture the good moments, the good moments when she was healthy still. And yeah, If you guys didn't know, my obachan, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. And when I arrived to Japan, we didn't know that she had lung cancer. I just heard that she had underlying health issues. And when I arrived to Japan and we went to the hospital together, we find out that she's diagnosed with lung cancer. She only has a year left. That's what the doctor said originally, okay? So yeah, I didn't record everything, but I documented all the, the happy stuff, right? Just something to look back at. And I would say, the time I came, right, at the end of January, beginning of February-ish, up until my birthday, late March, that was like the honeymoon phase of the caregiving. She was still healthy. She was able to walk, talk, eat. She was always smiling, always laughing, right? And then I guess 2 days after my birthday, she broke her arm. And that's when everything went downhill. She broke her arm. She was getting up from her bed and her arm just snapped. Like, it just broke, right? And I remember I was in my room, in my bedroom in Hiroshima. I just hear a knock and she was screaming in pain. She was like, Keiji, I'm in pain. And I looked at her arm. It looked very weird. Like, she couldn't move it at all. So I had no choice, and I called the ambulance. And we live in Hiroshima, right? My obachan and I, we live in Hiroshima. The hospital that the ambulance took us, they took us to a city called Otake, which is maybe 40 minutes, 50 minutes away from driving, right? And yeah, we arrived there and I found out that her bones are getting weak due to the lung cancer, and the doctor also warned me that there might be a potential that she might break other bones in her body. And yeah, they kind of gave us a weak arm sling and medication, and they sent us home. So that happened, and that was no fun. But actually, I never posted this, but the next day after I called the ambulance, she was screaming in pain all day, all night. She came up to me. She's like, the medication that the hospital gave us is not working. Not working at all. I'm still in pain. And I had no choice but to call the ambulance again. So I actually called the ambulance 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row, man. And yeah, so instead of going to that far hospital in Otake, we actually went to the hospital that she usually goes to, and they didn't do nothing. They kind of said, just suck it up and go home. And yeah, I asked the doctor if I could get a better arm sling or maybe a cast or stronger medication, but in Japanese fashion in the medical system, which is very messed up now that I've realized and I dealt with it, is that they always make excuses of why they cannot do it. In Japan, you can't make the choices of what you want, what the patients want. It's all up to the doctor, right? So they kept saying, no, we can't give her medication because of this, because of that. We can't give her a cast because of this and because of that. So yeah, I remember the doctor told us, both of us, just suck it up and go home type of thing. So nothing happened and we went home. So about, I don't know, maybe 2.5 weeks, right? So 2.5 weeks, she was in pain. She was screaming all day and night. Like, I would have to wake up in the middle of the night to, whatever she wanted, like if she wanted, water, or if she needed help to go to the bathroom, stuff like that, And yeah, I honestly, that whole month of April, I only got maybe 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, April last month was a very tough month. So for 2.5 weeks, right, she was just every day, screaming in pain, up all day and night, just comforting her, taking care of her. And it got to the point where also she couldn't even get out of her bed because she was in so much pain. So during that time, actually, those 2.5 weeks, I started actually put on diapers for her. I changed her every morning, every night. I checked the pads if she peed or pooped, and she did. I would put new ones in every day. every day. And, she couldn't use her arm, right? And she broke her right arm, and she's right-handed. So I had to actually spoon feed her food every day. And I cook food, dinner and breakfast almost every day since I got there for us. And yeah, I remember I had to spoon feed her, I had to change her diapers, and I never experienced changing diapers before or putting diapers on someone, not even an infant, because I don't have kids. But yeah, that was tough, man. And I remember it was a Thursday, right? On a Thursday, we went to the hospital to go check up on her arm, and yeah, it was not good. It was not good. When we first went to the hospital, it was a small, what is it, like a crack, right? It was a small crack in her arm, right? It was very minimal. But the problem was during that time is that she always kept taking her arm out of the sling, whether it was on purpose or accidentally, and she always kept on moving her arm, right? And honestly, when we went to the hospital on Thursday, we got an X-ray, and the doctor showed us the X-ray, and her whole arm was in pieces, like shattered in pieces. And I remember that day before we went to the hospital, it looked very weird. Like, it looked worse than it did a couple weeks ago, right? When she first broke her arm. And yeah, that was shocking. I remember, usually obachan, she's a very talkative woman, right? I remember she looked at the X-ray and she was just quiet. I think that day, like, everything changed. Yeah, she didn't talk the whole day. She was very quiet. I think she was shocked. And I remember when we got home, I was making dinner, and I was like, "You want to eat dinner?" And she told me, "I don't want to eat. Like, I'm not hungry, I don't want to eat." And from Thursday up until Sunday, she just fell into a depressive state, man. She kept telling me that she wants to die. She doesn't want to live anymore. Like, I give up. I can't do this anymore. I'm in so much pain. The doctors, they don't accept me to the hospital to be hospitalized. They don't give us better medication. Like, nothing is working. Like, I just want to die. She kept saying that, right? That was very dark, man. It was very depressing. Luckily, I convinced her to still eat, even though she didn't want to during that time. But it got to the point also, she wasn't able to eat the regular food I cooked, right? So I always had to go to the konbini and buy something soft, like Jello, yogurt, and I would spoon feed her, right? So yeah, it was hard for her to like chew and eat at that point. So yeah, Thursday up until Sunday, I had to deal with that. It was very depressing, very sad. And then Monday morning, I hired a care manager and nurse, right? Like, probably the last month she was alive. So I had a care manager and nurse that would come to our house, maybe every couple days, right, for 1 hour, just to check up how she's doing. And it was a day that they're coming. The nurses came. They noticed that her breathing was strange. She wasn't moving in her bed, and the nurse told me, "We gotta call the ambulance. We gotta get her hospitalized." And obachan, she always, since she broke her arm, she wanted to be hospitalized, right? But the Japanese hospitals, they always denied her, because honestly, I learned that the Japanese hospital system, they don't accept patients to be hospitalized unless you're on the verge of death, like almost about to be dead, basically, right? Which is very sad, right? So I asked the nurse, like, "Are you sure that she can even be hospitalized?" Because she's been saying she wants to be hospitalized, right? So yeah, but the nurse said, "Don't worry, I'll make sure she's hospitalized, make sure she's okay." So we called the ambulance, went to the hospital, and I found out that she has heart failure. Her lungs are filled with water. The cancer not only spread through her lungs, but it spread through her whole body. And yeah, I was told that she only has 1 month left, and I was shocked, man. Like, after I heard, it was like in the movie scene where you hear bad news and you don't hear anything around you. That's what happened. After he said, "Your grandmother only has 1 month left," I just blanked out, man. And I was trying to hold in my tears, but then once I held her hand when she was in the hospital bed, I just started bawling. I just started crying. And yeah, so I went home that day. It was my first time going home alone without obachan, because usually when we go out together, we come home together. And this was the first time I went home without her. And yeah, I remember I opened the door. I saw her room. It was wide open. She wasn't in her bed. My hand, I always hold her hand, right, everywhere we go. I wasn't holding her hand. I remember I went into our living room and I just collapsed and I just cried and I was screaming, man. Like, I was so heartbroken. Like, honestly, there's a lot of people know this in Japan, but once you become hospitalized in a hospital in Japan, like, there's no way of getting out, even if you get better. So I kind of had this feeling that, like, she already kind of, passed away in a way, and I knew, the time is coming, right? And I was stressed out too because I only had maybe a week and a half left in Japan, and I had to come back here to sort out my visa situation, sort out my personal business stuff. And yeah, I was stressed out because I'm like, what if she passes away when I fly back to America, So yeah, I was heartbroken, man. I was so depressed. But ever since she was hospitalized on Monday, every day, I went to go and see her. I was probably the only family member that went to see her every day, right? And yeah, but sadly, they only gave me 30-minute visitation times. I don't know why. I wish I had, more time every day to see her, but they only gave me 30 minutes. But yeah, so she was hospitalized on Monday. On Friday, I got a call from the hospital, and they kind of told me, like, she's not doing well. She's, if you have extended family members, please contact them so they can see her, because I think her time is soon, right? So I called my cousin Ricky. I called her brother. I called her sister, and we all met up at the hospital. And at that point, she was not talking. So she was hospitalized on Monday. Monday and Tuesday, I was able to talk to her. But by Wednesday, I believe, she was not talking. Like, she was struggling to breathe. Like, she was in an air tank with the mask on, just struggling to breathe. Like, she couldn't talk anymore because she was so focused on trying to breathe, right? And yeah. So she wasn't communicating, she wasn't talking anymore, but we all met up. Luckily they gave us more than 30 minutes. They said that we could stay as long as we want, right? So I kind of knew the end was coming soon, right? So yeah, my family and I, we were with her for a couple hours, just spending time with her. And then, yeah, I went home that afternoon, and it was nighttime. And it was around 1 a.m. on Saturday. I was about to go to sleep, and I get a call from the hospital again. And they told me, she's leaving us, She's leaving us. Her time is coming now. If you can you please come to the hospital? And I'm like, yes, of course. But, I don't have a car in Japan, right? So the train stop at 12 a.m., midnight in Japan. So I had no way to get to the hospital. So I called my cousin. He has a car. I'm like, yo, Ricky, his name is Ricky. Can you come to Obachan's house, pick me up, and take me to the hospital? Let's go together. So he rushed over to my house. We rushed over to the hospital. And by the time we got to the hospital, she was not even breathing that much, right? And we knew that her time is coming, and we were with her until her very last breath. And yeah, sorry. Yeah, the image, I saw of her, she had her eyes closed. Her mouth was wide open, man, and she wasn't breathing. And I remember the doctor and the nurse, they came, right? They flashed a light into her pupils, checked her heartbeat, and the doctor asked me, what time is it? And I said 2:24 a.m., right? The doctor and the nurse, they bowed to me and my cousin, and I just knew. And he just said, I'm sorry, she is gone. And I remember Ricky and I, my cousin, we hugged. He was crying. Honestly, like, I was trying to be strong for him, so I was trying to hold in my tears, right? And yeah, I remember they put a white like blanket or sheet over her body, and they carried her, and I told Ricky, I cannot look at this. So I put down my hat, and I could not see it. Like I can't believe she was gone, you know. I was in shock. Yeah, I was holding Ricky's hand. We were walking in the hospital up to the car where they're gonna take her to a mortar to freeze her body for a couple days, and I couldn't see that also. And yeah, or it was maybe around 4 a.m. by the time we got home. He dropped me off at my house, and I could not sleep. I couldn't get the image out of my head of her with her eyes closed, with her mouth wide open. Like, up to this day, it scars me, to be honest. And I've had a couple nightmares about it since then. But yeah, I couldn't sleep, so I went to 7-Eleven. I got her favorite beer. The sun was rising a little bit at that point, and she likes Audrey Hepburn, right? She likes her music and that actress. So I remember I put on my headphones. I put on Audrey Hepburn. I cracked open the beer. The sun was rising, and I felt the sun just beaming into my face. And I felt like she was smiling at me. And I don't know, I just started crying. I went on my knees. I started crying, just bawling. And I remember after I went into her bedroom, and I was just talking to her, right? Like, I know she was listening to me up there. And yeah, man, I couldn't sleep that whole day. That whole Saturday, I probably stayed up more than 24 hours. Like, I could not sleep. So yeah, that happened. And then my mom, she came. So obachan passed away Saturday, right? My mom came to Japan Monday, and my mom was always planning to come back to Japan on Monday, even before she was hospitalized. Oh, I forgot to mention, my mom, she actually came with me to Japan to help obachan in the beginning of the caregiving journey. So, but she had to come back here to America because she also has some underlying health issues that she has to deal with, so she can't stay in Japan long, right? So yeah, she came back on Monday. Her, my cousin, and my cousin and I, we filled out paperwork for the funeral and ceremony, and literally the next day, the funeral ceremony happened. And yeah, this part I don't like talking about, and yeah, but I'll talk about it anyways. But yeah, so in Japan, they have this thing called kotsuage. So kotsuage is when you cremate the body and you go into this room, right? And you see your loved one's bones, like freshly baked, like just the bones only. And you use chopsticks and you put it into a jar. And mind you, I'm American. I was born and raised in California. You know, I've had family relatives and friends pass away, but I've never experienced anything like this. And I found out about it that day, right? So I'm like, I remember I told my mom and my cousin, like, I don't know if I could do this, but they encouraged me, like, you should do this. I'm like, you're right. Like, this is tradition, right? Like, it's a Japanese tradition that's been going on for centuries, right? So yeah, I remember I walked into this room, the smell, like I can't get that smell out of my head, you know, and I just see obachan's bones, right? Yeah, it was messed up, man. We all had to, you know, carry her bones and put it into a jar. And I remember looking at her right arm, right? Like, her left arm was still intact, but her right arm, the arm that she broke, it was literally shattered. Like, there's nothing there. And that scared me too, right? So, yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I have PTSD from it, but that really scarred me. And yeah, it was really shocking. So, yeah, yeah, man. So, I guess a week later, I had like a week left in Japan, so I spent time with my mom, comforting her. We also handle a lot of paperwork and, you know, medical expenses. You know, she's an atomic bomb survivor, so a lot of the medical expenses, they were free, but there's still minimal fees we had to, you know, pay and handle. You know, just plan out what we're gonna do from here on forward. But yeah, man. So I guess that's like the whole gist of it, right? It's been a month now, and I have nothing but gratitude as I reflect. I'm kind of over the sad period, like, well, majority of it. I still kind of find myself crying every every couple days, you know, but not every day like when it first happened. But yeah, I'm nothing but grateful that I was there with her from the beginning up until the end. And yeah, I guess next is to talk about what I'm gonna do next, right? So moving forward, I am not going to post content or talk about obachan or my caregiving journey ever again. Once this video goes up, once I post on TikTok, Instagram, and other platforms announcing this, I am not going to talk about it. Why? It's because I respect my obachan, you know. I don't look at her as content. I don't look at her as a cash grab, something to use for sympathy, right? She's my grandma. She is my grandma. Right? And I love her so much. I have so much respect for her, and I want her to rest peacefully. And it just doesn't morally feel right to talk about someone who is no longer here with us. And it's just morally wrong to make videos or talk about her and post it online, you know. I just feel like that's so immoral and just evil, you know, and I can't do that. I can't do that. And also, like, talking about it and like watching and or editing footage of her, it makes me cry, like, to be honest. Like, the last video I edited and posted was her making soba, and I was crying the whole time. Like, I was crying, and like I couldn't stop crying, and I don't want to go through that. And I just feel like, out of respect, I want her to rest peacefully. And also, I promised her that she made me promise her, actually, that I would try to move on and follow my dreams, right? Move on and follow my dreams. And I promised her that. And I also told her before she passed away that, you know, once your time comes, I'm going to stop posting videos about you. I'm going to stop talking about you, you know. And we've talked about it. And, you know, I'm going to live up to that promise. And that's what I'm going to do. I know some people, they might unfollow me. They might, stop watching my videos, which I totally understand since the caregiving journey has ended. But I hope you understand that this is my choice. This was me, my obachan I's choice, actually. And I just feel like this is the right thing to do, because there's no reason for me to drag along this situation and milk the situation. And I just want to bring this up also. You know, I'm so glad that I didn't make merchandise using her likeness, like putting her face or name on a t-shirt, start a GoFundMe, use sympathy to make a profit and make money, right? I never did that. And from the beginning, I knew that I didn't want to do that. And I didn't. I'm so proud of it that I didn't, you know? And I get paid for views on social media, but honestly, I don't, if I'm being realistic, guys, I don't make that much money off of my videos, right? So that's the truth. It's not even near as how much I made back in my 9-to-5 job. Luckily, I've saved a lot of money from my 9-to-5 job before I quit. So I'm good right now financially, That's why, I just feel like a lot of social media content creators, they see everything as a business. They see everything as a quick cash grab, something to profit off of their viewers. And I don't want to do that with you guys. I feel like, I wouldn't even say I am a content creator, but I don't think like one, I don't think as everything as something to do for profit, for money. At the end of the day, I'm making these videos to, document my life, document my journey, something for me to look back at. And also it's coming from the heart, right? So yeah, from here on moving forward, I am not going to talk about obachan. I'm not going to talk about my caregiving journey. And I remember obachan, she used to always tell me that you can't live in the past or else you can't grow as a person. And ever since she passed, I reflect on that quote that she told me. And she's right, I can't. It's good to reminisce about the past, but it's not good to live in it, You can't grow as a person as that. And I want to keep growing as a person. I'm still young, and I feel like I still have more to explore and learn about myself. And yeah, I feel like this caregiving journey really taught me a lot about life, because before I came out of Japan taking care of her, all I cared about was, getting a better job, getting a promotion so I could make more money at my 9-to-5 job, like just only my 9-to-5 and make money, right? And I thought that's what life was all about. You know, right after I graduated college, I immediately went to the corporate world, right? And I realized that's not life, you know. That's not what all life is, you know. Like just seeing my obachan, just taking care of her, right? I saw her from being healthy up until she was gone, and I realized, you know, especially me being Gen Z, I feel like I should be more grateful. I should be more grateful that I'm alive, I'm healthy, I'm able to eat, sleep, breathe, talk to you guys, I'm able to walk, I'm able to pee, poop, you know, just small things in life. I just feel like a lot of us, especially young people in my generation, Gen Z and even millennials, we take it for granted. Like we complain about, yes, you know, the American job market's messed up, you know, or everywhere, you know, inflation, you know, like political, you know, turmoil, right, all around the world. But at the end of the day, you know, I feel like we focus so much on the negative, we don't focus on the positives in our life. Like, you know, I'm healthy, you know, I'm still young, I'm able to breathe, talk, you know, I have a roof under my head, I have a great support system, my family, and yeah, I'm just grateful, you know, I'm just grateful for the little things in life now, and that's what caregiving really taught me. And I'm forever going to take that with me moving forward. And yeah, anyways. But yeah, going back, I'm not going to talk about obachan, no more caregiving content. That's just my choice. And moving forward, I'm actually gonna, when I go back to Japan, I'm gonna move back to Japan. I'm planning to live there. I'm planning to still make Japan content, what it's like to live in Japan, but I'm also gonna travel Japan. I'm actually planning a series kind of to travel across the country of Japan, maybe starting from Hokkaido and then end at Okinawa, or maybe a little bit more down south. Yeah, I'm very excited. This whole next chapter is just about me finding myself as a person, and you know, I'm gonna honor her in a different way. You know, I'm not gonna honor her posting old videos of us, posting videos of me talking about her. Like, there's other ways I could honor her legacy without using her likeness for attention, for views, whatever, right? So yeah, I hope you guys understand. Thank you guys so much for the support. Honestly, the past couple months, like since day one, since I started Life KG, like your comments and the messages, I read all of them, and it really warms my heart. And I just have the best supporters in the world, and I'm truly grateful. And yeah, I'm gonna be more active on YouTube. I'm gonna post more YouTube videos once I come back to Japan. But for now, I think I'm just gonna chill, you know, in America for a little bit, relax, get my visa situation sorted, personal business, and once I get that handled, I'm gonna fly back. But yeah, that's the plan. Yeah. I love you, Obachan. I know you're watching over me. I hope I make you proud. Yeah. I know you're like my guardian angel now, and I know that, wow, the wind is so strong. See, I feel like she's talking to me. I don't want to be cheesy, but yeah, I love you, Obachan. And when my time comes, I hope you'll be waiting for me up there. Hope you're dancing with Oji-chan, Grandpa, and my Uncle Koki. And yeah, I love you so much. Daisuki, aishiteru yo, Obachan. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, guys. I really, truly appreciate it. And yeah, peace.